Great.
How's it going, everyone? I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm Jude Hotep, the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix. And this is the alchemical goddess astrology intuitive for May 17th, 2022. Really excited to share this with you today. This is the T square with Saturn and the nodes of fate in the Taurus Scorpio axis about money, about material wealth, about abundance, about worth, value, secrecy, trust, intimacy, about relationships when it comes to all of those things, and about how we deal with transformation, the transformation of building, growing, creation, and the transformation of the cyclical renewal of death and rebirth. And of course, we just come off this full moon lunar eclipse. So powerful, so beautiful. If you got to see it, lasted a couple hours, really gorgeous. Could see it in the United States for sure. Unless it's like cloudy and overhead. If that was the case for you, mea culpa. I understand. But I finally got to see something going on in the sky. The moon's in Sag today, and it's moving up, and we have this T square that means we need to go into the Leo energy, into the heart, because Saturn's in Aquarius, saying that we move forward on what's innovative, what's ingenious, what is about the future, and about what is about our future, and leaving the past behind. Scorpio is the past. It's a secrecy. It's a distrust. It's a suspicion. It's the psychologizing, the psychodramas, and the psychodynamics with other people, like being really up in relationships. When we don't let relationships just fall and be natural and are always trying to be in the psychodramas of relationships, they don't go well, and we are not happy. And it's always this obsession, this thinking about, just in the mind, constantly on it, not really living a life. Leo is creating and creation and leadership and power and that courage and being in your heart, which is not in the mind spinning around. It's that opposite, very opposite. And so use the opposite of this T square, to that being in the heart, to move you into what is the highest, because Mars is conjunct Neptune today, and there can be delusion about what to take action on, about what's the best, and about the fantasy, and really being in this idea of the fantasy, not wanting to make it real because you're afraid that what is real won't be as good. A lot of times, what's happening is that you're being led to next steps. You're not being led. If you get off destination focus, life will flow so much better. And that's the divine feminine way, the divine feminine knowing, is being in that non-linear space of knowing what's the next best thing to do, the greater vision that you're creating, and that all things change and flow and die and birth anew again, that there's cyclical renewal constantly every month, with the moon going through every zodiac sign every 28 days, with the year, with the sun going through every zodiac sign in a given year, and so on. And so, and with the equinox precession, we're moving into the Aquarius age in another 150 years. And so we're moving out of the Piscean age. So there's always, with everything, with our energy, with our moods, with our attitudes, but we always want to be stepping into the higher level of ourself. And so with this conjunction between Mars and Neptune, it's about taking action on our highest vision, but the action can get dispersed and really kind of flow into nothingness almost, with Neptune here. And with Mars and Pisces, Mars can just be a little confused and to be and too empathetic to wanting to take action on things that aren't for your mission and for your highest calling. And so realize that we want to be connected to soul and to heart, because that's going to allow you to take action on the most important priorities. This is really about prioritization and not being in the fool's dream, not looking at fool's gold like it's at pyrite, like it is gold, like realizing what's too good to be true, what we want to be, but just isn't going to be, like looking at the writing on the wall, looking at what's meant to be, and realizing that with Chiron and Aries, it's the wound of the ego, the wound of the way we think that our ego thinks it all should look, that we were really spelled into and conditioned into by our socialization, by our upbringing, by living in the matrix world. We all have to deprogram ourselves from the projected reality that's projected by the dark, and how we're told to live, what we're told life is, this fake life, this projected reality that's just not real, that there's this soul reality based on your unique soul codes, your unique gifts and medicine, the balm that only you can bring. And like, what is that? The gifts are your natural talents and skills. And that's what Taurus is all about. Taurus understands that it is a resource, and it has resources, and it's resourceful. It can figure anything out. It can make anything work. It's MacGyver, but it also doesn't work with just paper clips and bubble gum. It's like, no, we want the best. What is the highest quality? What's the best of the best? And Uranus is changing our attitudes about what's the best. Uranus is the planet of unpredictability and sudden change and innovation. And so it's asking us to realize that sometimes we're going to have to make the best Taurus and be resourceful Taurus with what is available to us, but always realizing our value and then stepping into the next greatest place of worth. So sometimes you're in cities that don't have what is offered, what you would like, and you just take the best gas station or the cleanest bathroom, or you go to the restaurant that seems like it would give you the best juice, because your juice place is closed or sold out, and you realize that you found a new best, and that there's more quality out there, and that there's experience of life out there. You have to realize that a lot of people living off this prescribed life, off the matrix, they don't actually ever experience anything in life. They don't really have much experiences. It's literally the picket fence life. Like school, kids, marriage, like the different supposed things you're supposed to go through, birthday party, the weddings, the parties, the Christmases, and then it's like a vacation here, there, and diet. There's no real actual life experience. Living experience is meeting people, trying out different things, having like going out into the world, being on the adventure and exploring. You have to realize our ancestors had to explore all the countries and all the lands and the wildernesses, and pave roads and make things, and go explore rivers and understand where they went and where they came out and where they started from, and climb mountains and build roads through mountains and dynamite things and create things. Like our ancestors created what to now just seems like this natural infrastructure that wasn't there before. And so we have to realize that what we think is the best needs to transform and change, and allow for it to not be from the fake sold to us projected reality. With Chiron here, it can confuse us about like how we think things should be, that we're not allowing spirit to actually come in, that Neptune's here in its home sign of Pisces, saying spirit has been here showing you the pathway, showing you the soul reality. All the planets have talked to Neptune and spent time in Pisces, passed over Neptune and spent time in Pisces, and have figured out and gotten the messages and the downloads and the inspiration, the information about what to disconnect to, what the karma is that's clearing and healing. And Venus moving off Chiron is now allowing you to let go of the wounds, to have moved through the wounds related to beauty and money and relationships, and bringing a balance to life. And she's moving up the degrees of Aries, and she's in not an exact semi-sextile to Uranus, but she's there. And so it's this disjointed idea of something unexpected about relationships and about what we think. It's about losing the identity in the mind of how relationships should be and letting people be people, so that the natural organic relationships can really fall into beautiful place, can really be a lot more beautiful, a lot more fun. And the moon in Sagittarius can have a lot of emotions, really exploring the story. It's bouncing off this Jupiter that is, and it's squaring Jupiter in Aries, and Jupiter is Sagittarius's planet. And so it's really asking us to write the stories of our life that we really want to live, to be in it, to live it, feel fully, to feel the emotions, to think those thoughts of that real life that you desire to live, to have create those experiences, to be in that energetic vibe, to show up that way to your life, but also face whatever shadow may come up. Mercury's in retrograde at 2 degrees now. Gemini, really strong in Gemini. And Mercury, what Mercury is, retrograde is and isn't, it's not having to be aware of so many scared things. It's really having to double check, look both ways, be cautious, because things cannot be well thought out, or people can be on really different pages defining terms in very different ways and thinking they're talking about the same things. And then that's when the misunderstandings or the arguments or the contracts get signed weird. It's more about what Mercury retrograde brings, is this like reinvention, this restorying, this re-narration of your life, of experiences in your life, of the things that didn't go the way you wanted it to, and re-narrating it, retelling that story for your highest empowerment, for the truth, for the spiritual truth about that it's a soul life here, that there's actually lessons and healing and impact on the world that you're meant to have as light goddess, as a divine feminine, because women are this women are the change makers that change direction for humanity, that move humanity out of its malignancy, out of the toxicity. Women are who do that. It's not men. Men start wars. Men are in the testosterone. Men are in the power games. It's not putting all men down or the masculine. So don't take it that way. It's really just being really real that every person has feminine and masculine within them. And the feminine is that deep love and creation power, and the masculine, the divine masculine, can step into place, can protect and to build and grow when the feminine takes her place on her throne, when she takes her place as a big voice in the world. So the energy for today can be this energy of really wanting the best quality and value, and wanting to be adventurous, in the joy, optimistic, happy, and really creating the stories for what you really truly want. Pluto retrograde has burnt down the structures. Pluto doesn't destroy anything that's good for the collective or that's about growth. So Pluto only destroys things where we're no longer growing. It's no longer at a high octave. It no longer has potential for evolution. Let's destroy it. Let's move on. I'm going to pull some cards for us. So the energy is really about the story with Jupiter and Aries. We have so much power. And there's a lot of positivity, there's a lot of optimism, but there may be the shadow and emotions to face. And so clear fear, really be willing to do this important healing work. There's a lot of inauthenticity out in the spiritual community. And I just did a really powerful episode on that today on the Light Goddess podcast. The link's below. There's episodes daily. The sun sign horoscopes are up Monday. And the episode's really just about this inauthenticity that's going around, this not being in the Piscean delusion of having 4 planets in Pisces, the 2 home rulers, and the divine feminine masculine, Mars and Venus. And Mars is still there. And so it's so much delusion in Pisces. It's the imagination from which we create the reality, Virgo, into, but it's also the karma, the way we wish it would be, living in the dream and the fantasy, not making it real, because the fantasy is so much better, and just being in this like love state and dreamy place where you do nothing, and you're really not moving forward. So it's a funky, Pisces is kind of a funky place. Like, we're coming out of the Piscean era, but it's like Pisces is so beautiful. It is the ethereal, it is spirit, it is beautiful, but it also doesn't have boundaries. It also doesn't have discernment. It also doesn't, get it that there's tough love. It just sees the highest love, which there needs to be tough love. There needs to be balance. There needs to be all 12 zodiac signs. So we have Seahorse spirit that is asking you to be aware of the Mercury retrograde energy, and to look both ways, to be cautious, to kind of wait before you're signing contracts so immediately. Like, check some of the details, look at the important factors, double check your work, read the fine print. Brown bear spirit, about taking time to really pull in this deep spiritual magical energy, because a lot is shifting underneath, behind the veil, in the metaphysical realm. So it's asking you to rest when you need to rest, and to let go of urgency, and to come from a place of creation, to come from a place of joy in your work. Come from the divine feminine that just knows and allows for the time to move forward. Lizard spirit, to dream everything into place, meaning do that visualization. But it says that you're visualizing the drama, you're visualizing the negative, you're visualizing the lack, what didn't go right. So stop visualizing, let that go of that, and start visualizing what you want to see. If you can't do it on a grander scale and a macro scale, do it with little micro things. Visualize how you want to feel in each day, or the love or the energy, or pull that energy and activate it in your body, or visualize how you'll feel after you get out of your sessions with your clients, or after you complete your project, what it'll look like, what it'll feel like. Be in that space, be in that energy. Koala spirit has a plan. So when things look like they're not going the way that the ego wants, the way that you thought you wanted it, or the way that you were told it was going to be or should be, or the way it should look, realize that there's just a much deeper, way more beautiful plan. And look at all the gifts so far. That's what this Mercury retrograde is helping us do, to look at the gifts that you already have to utilize. Gifts are people. They are your intuitive abilities that are ramping up, telepathic abilities, psychic abilities, perceptive abilities, learning spiritual discernment, all of the growth and the learnings to navigate the world better, healing, anything that you've healed. Look at the many things you've healed, new confidence, new trust in your path and your journey, collaborations, meeting different people, having different experiences in life. There's so many gifts that we don't really understand the real definition of gifts, and we're only looking at it as money, or the way the ego wanted the destination. Spirit has a plan that goes far deeper into your heart, soul desires for your life, and the true healing and the important things about healing your chart than you can imagine. We have Hawk spirit, and it's about letting spirit be your guide, your soul, your heart, instead of the mind. And it's in reverse. So it's really saying that you're letting your mind dominate. You're letting your mind, like, calculating, figuring out, tabulating, instead of letting spirit guide the way and show you the breadcrumbs, show you the steps you need to take, show you what you need, and really listening to what you like and don't like. That Jupiter in Aries and Venus in Aries, like Venus in Aries is like, I don't like, while she may be in detriment there, she's like, I don't like this, I like this. She's headstrong in a way that's very Venus, that's very doesn't need to say it, just knows it and just acts upon it, and is just very very beautifully firm within herself and her power, very strong, fierce, without coming across fierce. It's more just a steadiness within, more of just a knowing and a matter of factness. What's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a C. Anyways, we have butterfly spirit about the transformation. That transformation really looks beautiful on the other side of it. It doesn't really look beautiful when you're in the goop of the caterpillar and all of that. And that's Scorpio. That's a part of life, that cyclical renewal, that balsamic phase. For all of the Geminis right now, they're heading up to their birthday, or their birthday's right upon us, coming up this week. And so the 2 weeks, the month perhaps heading up to your birthday, is often the most highest rate of suicides. It's a balsamic moon phase, meaning that the balsamic waning moon before the new moon, the 3 days of the actual dark new moon, is this phase of deep internal being in that caterpillar, the goop, the gunk, the bottom of the oil barrel, that deep plutonic yuck energy where everything has to come up to be purged, to be let go. It's like if you're purging the clutter in your house, you can't let go of it unless you actually go through it. And that's the same with the gunk inside of us. So transformation is beautiful when you pop out the other side. And if you go through it, you will. If you keep suppressing it and pushing it down and you never face it, you won't pop out the other side of it. That's the thing that humanity has to realize, is that so many people have people die and they never grieve, realizing that grief comes in waves. It's an emotion that you can feel and release, and it can be very clean. You want to release emotions should be very clean. They're only not clean to release and feel and to allow in your life if you have stacks of them, if you've been suppressing them for your lifetime, which all of humanity has, until the individual decides to go in and do emotional work and get emotional skills and cultivate emotional mastery. So everybody has to deal with this individually until they decide to do that work. And emotion should be really clean. But if you've been suppressing and repressing and refusing and denying to actually feel it and to allow it to be there and to learn skills, then that's really funny, because I don't have a bug in my car, but like you saw that, right? It was like, looked like a moth or something. It's really funny because I don't have any flying insects inside my car. So very interesting. A fairy visiting me. And so realizing that I don't even remember what I was saying. Deer spirit, I saw some deer tonight. They're so beautiful, and they were staying on the side of the road. It's good. And it's about being deeply compassionate, diplomatic with yourself. Deer are strong and fierce, and they can run and they can take great care of themselves, but they're very gentle creatures, but they're very strong and powerful. You don't want to be kicked by one. You don't want to be headbutted by the antlers. Like, they can take you out with their antlers. They're sharp, but they're just gentle. They approach challenge as it occurs. They don't need to be anxious and riddled with anxiety about challenges that aren't here yet. Anticipating challenges, anticipating doom, thinking it's going to happen. We have to let go of what has happened in the past, the turmoil, the tumult. We have to let go of that. We have to move into this higher frequency and higher way of being. Bee spirit in reverse, saying that when we we should have fun doing the work, flower to flower to flower. It should come from the play, and understanding like that the bee spirit shouldn't fly, that we haven't even seen what humanity can do, because people need to step into their authenticity, to their true self, and into their own power, and to stop trying to be like other people and to be who they really are, so we can see what humanity can bring. Because like bees technically, supposedly, according to physics, can't fly, but they absolutely do beautifully, and they go from flower to flower. So they're very playful, they do their work playfully, but they're very focused. And then this sweet, amazing honey comes from all of their efforts. And so it's realizing that your efforts do create something amazing. And that sometimes that it took however many years you've lived up to this point in our spiritual trajectory as humankind to be at this place where you could heal, you could finally heal the shadow, you could finally heal the past lives, you can finally move in to the highest version of what you can accomplish and create in this world. And there's reasons for what you went through. There's reasons for it. There's important reasons for what you've been through in your life and the challenges. And so realize that you can create what you want to create. And we have vulture spirit, that nothing's wasted, that those experiences that you've been through have meaning and purpose and value. And this nothing is wasted card is so important to realize that what you went through is not just random shit. It's not, like you might not have the understanding for it yet. So go in, talk to your guides and angels and great spirit and say, hand me down, download me with the understanding for this. Talk to Archangel Zadkiel. He's a good archangel to deal with, to try to get understanding. Like, help me understand the situation. What is the lesson here? What is the learning? Why did I go through this? I need to know. And working with your chart absolutely helps you to get that at deeper levels than really you thought were possible. It's so profound, the self-love that comes in and the compassion for other people too, when you begin to get to know your chart and yourself at the deepest levels of soul through your chart. Sending you lots of love. I'll be here for the daily astrology intuitive tomorrow. Please like this video. It helps other people find the video. Please share this with other people. I'm so appreciative for you being here. It means so much. This information is powerful, and the Light Goddess podcast is different work on it, different information. And thank you for being in this Light Goddess sisterhood. It's all of us together, all of us Light Goddesses, moving humanity into 5D. Let's do this. Let's be in high frequency, be in your heart, go get grounded in nature, do what you do, meditations, do what you need to do, chant, dance, take salt baths, do what you need to do to resource yourself so fully and to be in that higher frequency and that place of joy and play, and do that deep work. If you are going to transform the shit in the shadow into your highest power and get yourself back and really create the money and the soulmate relationships that you want, you can book a complimentary goddess call at thegoddessastrologer.com to inquire about Alchemical Goddess, my coaching program, where you will learn your chart. We will go into it every single week and keep you in breakthrough after breakthrough. So that's powerful. You can book an astrology reading at the Goddess Astrologer as well. And I will talk to you on the next daily.